What's up, rock stars? Welcome back to Fretfire Guitar Academy. It is a dreary day outside. It is raining like crazy. What we're going to talk about today is something that brings me great happiness, and that is guitars. We are going to go through a little bit of my collection here, just to talk about things that, what I like about each model that I have, what I use them for, a little bit of the specs and features on each, and maybe how you might be able to purchase one for yourself to get some 80s tones or anything like that. But just to start out this video, I personally, now every guitar player feels different, but I personally believe that 85 to 90% of the tone is in your fingers. In your fingers. So it doesn't matter what guitar that you play, it's in your mind. 90% of that tone is in your hands. So you can pick up any guitar off the shelf. Once it's set up properly, it's gonna sound like you. No matter what amp that you plug it in, yes, you'll have little tweaks, anything like that, but it's still gonna sound like you at the end of the day. All right, so without further ado, let's go on and look at some of my guitars. Let's do it. All right, first, and one of my favorites, this is an Ibanez RG550. Now, this is not the Genesis one that is out right now, the Genesis ones. The Genesis? It's not one of those models. This is actually the reissue that they made in 2007. It's the 20th anniversary. Let's see if we can see that. So this is the 20th anniversary edition that came out in 2007. Now, the only upgrades that I have done to this, other than the multicolored knobs, because of course I was inspired by Steve Vai and all those 80 shredders, definitely Paul Gilbert too. But I swapped out the frets with stainless steel frets. So I believe they are the Jescar 6110 or whatever like the number was, the jumbo frets, but it has stainless steel frets. I pretty much have stainless steel frets on all of my guitars now, if they didn't already come with it from the factory. I just like how silky smooth that they are when you're bending. I mean, and that they're virtually, yes, they do wear down. I know that a lot of people think that they don't. They do very, very, very slowly though. So basically, yes, no fret wear. But this has also, I mean, it is hard to see, but in 2007, they made them just like they did in 1987 when they came out. So to the exact specs. I mean, this neck, it's really hard to see on the camera, but it is, I'm talking saltine cracker thin. Saltine cracker thin. Break out the cheese whiz, because we're eating crackers. I'm just kidding, but yeah. And look what I also put on here. I used to love pit vipers, and I still do, but I put the little sticker on the headstock there. And of course I have the fret wrap, not to use on the fretboard when I'm playing, because you really need to work on muting the strings yourself with your hands instead of relying on a handicap like this. But I have this behind the nut here to mitigate some of the overtones that happen behind the nut when you're recording, so it just really quiets it down. But this is my 2007 Ibanez RG550. It's basically stock other than the stainless steel fret, so we have added to it. I wrote both of my solo instrumental records. It's a solo project called Jupiter Down. You can definitely check that out on Spotify if you're into 80s style instrumental guitar. Now it's a little modernized too, so there's a little bit of gent in it. Yeah, that's Jupiter Down. I got 2 records out if you want to check that out. If you're really into guitar playing, then definitely do. But this is the Ibanez RG550. All right, on to the next. All right, next on the list, you guessed it, one more Ibanez. This is just a standard, I believe it, yes, it's an RG Prestige. I believe it's a 2015 model. Shoot, I think it's a RG 655, something like that. I believe it is a 655. But the only thing that I have done, because if you are an Ibanez fan, then you know that this model came from the factory with, I believe, a tone zone in the bridge and an Air Norton in the neck. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did swap that out with a Super Distortion, a DiMarzio Super Distortion. Sounds great. It's really thick pickup. Anybody that knows 80s rock, Super Distortion was all over a lot of those records. It's just definitely, you know, a very fat sounding pickup. Sometimes you need the girth for the 80s rock. Yeah, it's got the original edge tremolo on it. It's kind of got some glitter in the paint. It's like that Galaxy black or the Galactic black. You kind of see it in like the ring light that I got there. Does need to be polished, but I just changed the strings on it recently. Gave it a fresh setup. There it is. It is very fun to play 80s music with a whammy bar, or some people call it the wang bar. Just wanging off. Jokes. But look, I don't even have to pick. All right, here we go. Wasn't that awesome? I know. Here, let's see if we can do it. Probably can't hear it. I ain't got it plugged in. Maybe I should plug it in. But I believe that I recorded almost all the lead on my second solo album. It's called The Story of Us. Once again, my solo project is called Jupiter Down. I believe that I recorded all the lead on this guitar. Believe in the previous guitar earlier, I showed you the red RG550. I did most of the rhythm work and all on there, and I'll show you some of the other guitars that I use for track and rhythm. But this is mainly a lead one. This as well as the other Ibanez too. But Ibanez RG565 in black, not too much. I did upgrade the frets. They are stainless steel frets. On to the next. So this next one is a special one to me. I believe it was the third guitar that I ever bought. Worked all summer, saved up, and it is a Japanese, I believe it's a 2010, it's a Charvel SoCal. This is back when they made them in Japan, and I repainted it. Now, this is actually, you can probably see on the back here. So, I used to work with my dad at his auto body shop, all right? And if you can kind of see that dull blue in the back of the trim cavity there, it was that kind of gloss candy blue. Sanded that down, repainted it with that silver, if you can kind of see that silver in there. And then I was like, I'm bored with that. And I got this new metal flake. I believe it was by Paint Huffer, and it was called Snow Cone. I mean, that just looks crazy. Look at that. Bam, look at that in the light. And let's see what it did. Of course, it does not come with a knob like this from the factory. Yes, that is the factory knob, but I painted it. It was like a House of Colors neon pink or something like that. I know it probably looks more red or orange on the camera. But I swapped the pickup selector and the volume knob. It's because the pickup selector used to be here, but I could never really get to it quick. It was just always, I was always hitting the knob on the way down or up. So swap those, and yes, as you guessed it, I did change the frets. They are all stainless steel frets, nice and clean. Of course, you got your locking nut, and I don't know how that happened, a little burn mark or whatever on the top of my headstock, but yes. You know what's crazy? I like these unfinished maple necks because they get really gross and dirty, and they start to look really worn and broken in. I like that. Some people don't, but I think it kind of adds to that aged look or just like the character of it. Yes, I will clean my instruments from time to time, but sometimes it's just cool to let it get dirty. Oh, the stories the dirt on the neck could tell. All right, here we go. One more look at it. And I believe I have this one tuned a whole step down. So I can do all the Motley Crue stuff. I believe I have a couple of tunes on my solo records that are a whole step down as well. Some of the Steve Vai stuff like Bad Horsey, and what's another one that he does that's a whole step down? I don't think Building the Church is, but it might be. There you go. That is the Charvel SoCal, made in Japan. I believe it's a 2011 model, actually. I lied. But yes, boom. This is a great shredder. Nothing like a Super Strat to do 80s rock and metal, right? All right, on to the next. So this next guitar is probably, I'm gonna say it is my current #1 out of my lineup. And it's not really an 80s guitar, as in something that they use like the Ibanez RG 550s or the, you know how they had like the Fender HM Super Strats and all, or the Kramers or the BC Rich Gunslingers, which I do have a Gunslinger. I will show you that here shortly. But this is a new guitar. It is the ESP LTD SN1000 HT for hardtail. I believe it's the Snapper model. Now, it is kind of a Super Strat, I mean, at the end of the day, but just something about this sandblasted Ashwood. I mean, it's not super heavy, but I don't know, like, yes, I know that the 80s was all big about having the graphics painted on there, really, you know, bright neon colors, which I do still love neon. That's never gonna go away, but there's just something about this one. I don't have to worry about setting up a Floyd. It's just got the hip shot, the bridge on there. And I believe it comes with Seymour Duncan Pegasus in the bridge and a Sentient in the neck. Yes, those are more modern and progressive. Well, yes, they are. Yeah, I believe it's got a Pegasus in the bridge and a Sentient in the neck. Definitely more modern sounding pickups, but I do like that they are tight and kind of even sounding, so they're not spiked in any mid-range frequency or anything. Well, to my ears, I know like that everybody else's ears are different, but to my ears it sounds like a very well-rounded pickup, but it is very tight in the bottom end, which I like that as well. But like I said earlier, 90% of the tones is in your hand. I can take a modern metal guitar and make it sound 80s. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all what you're playing on. But what I liked about this, and what I still like about it, I believe it's 1,100 or 1,200 bucks new, and you get hip shot bridge, you get the sandblasted finish, you get a, what is that, a push coil tapper, like whatever that is. I'm not that up to speed on that, but that will split these humbuckers here. And of course, a 3-way switch. You get Seymour Duncan pickups. You also get the easy access to the truss wheel here. And all of these are stainless steel frets from the factory. Didn't have to add it on after. And what's cool too, I don't know if we can see it with the fretboard there, but from what, 17 up to 22, they're scalloped. That's pretty cool. And I don't really notice it, but you might notice it if you have one of these. I mean, it does help you get up under the string up on the higher register a little bit easier. But yes, like, to be honest, I don't really notice that much. Sorry, I had to adjust my chair there. But, and then of course I got the fret wrap up at the nut to help with overtones when recording. And of course it has ESP locking tuners. I didn't realize how great locking tuners were until I started to use them. And it just makes string changes very easy. But this is honestly one of the most solid guitars for the money that I've ever played, and rightfully so. It's my #1. It is tuned to a half step down right now, so I did use this in my most recent video, the Fallen Angel cover, which you can definitely click. I don't know where I'll put it. Let's put it right there. Let's put the link right there, and you can check it out. But yeah, ESP LTD SN1000HT. If you're interested in getting one, I believe I got mine from Sweetwater, which is where I normally get most of my, if not all of my gear from. They have great customer service, and you get free candy in the box. Well, it's not really free, you're paying for it, but you get candy. All right, you get candy. But yes, boom, ESP LTD. Let's go to the next. This next one is actually a 7-string. It is a Kiesel Aries 7-string. Now, yes, it has been custom painted. Like I said earlier, I do work, or I did, well, I still kind of do off and on, but worked at my dad's auto body shop. Now, this was actually, it had that tropic green color from Kiesel. And of course I got bored with that. Now I didn't spend too much time painting in the control cavity back, or the bridge cavity. I mean, it's kind of pointless. You don't need to paint. And I mean, just nobody's caring about that. Just put the business where the business needs to go. But I believe it's got a DiMarzio Crunch Lab. I think that's what that is. And then of course, I believe that's just the standard Kiesel pickup that's in the front, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played my 7-strings. I was playing them pretty heavily when I was writing my first Jupiter Down album. I have them a little bit on my second record, but it was mainly on the first. So I've sold a couple of my 7-strings and I only got one left. This is the key, and what was that? The abalone inlays for the headstock. Of course, it's got the Kiesel lock and tuners. It's a pretty flat neck. It's pretty comfortable to play. I do need to set this one up again. Like I said, it's been a little while since I played this, but I just wanted to hop on and show it to you. Have like the neon pink to the neon orange fade. And then of course I did a bunch of tape lines. I was like trying to go for that Tron grid. Let's see if we can. And granted, some of those lines are a little crooked. It was a test run. I was just messing around, not trying to be perfect or anything. But yeah, this of course has stainless steel frets as well. Now, if you don't have a whole lot of experience with stainless steel frets, not that it's absolutely necessary, because you could polish a nickel fret and it probably feel just as smooth. But I don't know, I just like them. They're rock solid, man. Oops, they're rock solid. Sorry, hit the wrong string there. Well, there's 7 of them, so got a lot of chances to hit the wrong one. Well, on to the next. This is a Kiesel Aries 7-string with the trim, and it's been blocked. Look at that. I might unblock it one day, but right now it's blocked. All right, let's go. Next up is the Gunslinger Retro by BC Rich. What is this one? This is a 2009. So if you know anything about these, when BC Rich started doing these again, I believe it was 08, 09, this is the second one that I've had. I had another one that was a 2010. I sold it to a buddy, but it actually had Dan Lawrence out of Hollywood, California. He's done, you know, a bunch of the famous paint jobs for all the 80 shredders, and he did the, you know, I was really big into Poison, still am, but CC DeVille was one of the first guys that I saw on, you know, MTV and all that stuff when he was playing. I was like, look at his guitars, they're all neon colored and crazy looking. Well, he definitely had several gunslingers. The slanted one pickup here, sometimes that's all you need. You don't need all the funny business up front. You just need one solid pickup. This is a DiMarzio Super Distortion and the fun knob. 0 to insanity, just that's all you need. You don't need all the other stuff. This was actually school bus yellow from the factory. And of course, it was another repaint that I did at the body shop. We sanded it down, sprayed it with House of Color neon pink, and then I just found some other paint lying around and splattered it. Now, if you can see in the ring light there that's on the guitar, it is textured. I could have buried it, I just didn't feel like putting that much clear coat on it, because sometimes when you bury things in clear, it's hard to put it back together with screw holes and all that stuff. So just left it as it is. This is one of 2 guitars, I believe, well, electric guitars that I still currently own that does not have stainless steel frets. I probably need to refret this here soon, but I hardly ever play it. See, it's got the Grover tuners on it. I'm a big Grover tuner fan. I think they make good products. Look at that, it's still got some, well, it's hard to see. Nope, you can't see it. I was like, it's got some dust on there. It's been pretty dormant for a little while. But, of course it has your original Floyd on it. I mean, like, there's not much on this like guitar, but as I said earlier, this is the second one that I had. I had one that was in the neon green color and was repainted by Dan Lawrence out in Hollywood, and he did the rainbow crackle finish on it. So I might try to find a picture of that and post it up here, but I sold that to a good buddy of mine, just because over the years you try to get new gear, and if you got gear lying around, might as well get rid of it so you can get the new stuff. But yes, sometimes when you sell it, you miss what you sold. But yep, there we go. BC Rich Gunslinger Retro. Perfect 80s guitar. Last but most certainly not least would be my first real guitar that I ever got. This is a Sector C1 Classic. I believe it's a 2005. Really like that inlay on it. Almost looks like the Vinyl Life thing that Steve Vai has on his Gem. This one has had some wear and tear. You see the buckle rash that's on there. I also like scuffed up the neck, I believe, with a Brillo pad one day. I was bored and I was like, this neck is slow, and my hand keeps getting caught on the slick paint. So I just grabbed something up under the sink and just started scuffing it down. You can see it's really dull, and it gets clear right there at the heel. But yep, it's got the Grover tuners on it. And this one I actually believe is, shoot, I don't even know it's in tune. A little bit off there, but it's in like an open C tuning. I think it's got 11s on it right now. This one definitely needs a setup too. As you can tell, I put fresh strings on it a while back, and you probably can't even see, but the strings right in here, a little rusty. I haven't even played it that much, but hey, it happens sometimes. I mean, you can only play one guitar at a time, which is what the common folk tell us guitar players, so we don't buy more guitars. But it doesn't work, because you gotta have more than one. You gotta have a friend for the other one. And then you might as well three's company. And then three's an odd number, so you might as well get 4. But those 4 need a tiebreaker in case they're voting for something. So you gotta have a 5th guitar. And then of course, then you're back to the fact that it's an odd number. So you might as well get another guitar. And then it just keeps building and building. Last is where we are. Lots of guitars. Which this isn't even all of them. This is just all that I can find right now. Some are at other places or whatever, but Sector C1 Classic. All right. This does not have stainless steel frets. It needs them badly though. These frets are pretty worn down. It's an old guitar, but you gotta keep your first one. You know, like you gotta always hold on to where you started from. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at some of my guitars. Yes, a good handful of them were actual models that they used in the 80s. So if you are looking for something that you can get those 80s tones out of, like I said, tone 90% is in your hand, is at least what I believe. It's not so much in the gear, it's how you touch the strings and manipulate that instrument to make it sound like how you want it. But if you want to already get in the ballpark, any kind of super strat, so that is something, yes, it could look like a Fender Strat or anything with humbuckers. You don't need a trem system, but having a Floyd does help you get those squeals, woo, and the dive bombs, the Van Halen stuff, CC DeVille, all that fun stuff. So like the Ibanez RGs, or What else we got? The Charvel SoCals. Jackson makes some pretty good ones as well. The ESP LTD, the Snapper models, those kind of have like the old school vibe. I believe they also, what's that other line? I think it's the Horizon. No, it's not the Horizon. I think it's the 87 model, something like that. Once again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to check out my guitars with me today. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.